Hey guys, I just wanted to talk to you today about how to care for and feed a narcissist. Now, number one, there's something that you need to know. A lot of times when we talk about narcissists, we think that we just need to get away from them. And oddly, most of the questions that I get are, how do I stay with a narcissist? Understand this, if you are with a very abusive narcissist, of course you need to get away from them. Of course, anyone who's abusive, you need to get away from. And I personally think that everyone who's abusive has some kind of strain of narcissism running through their blood. So, not everyone's like that, right? So let's just say, let's equate this to obesity. There are some people who are very obese. There are some people who have 5 or 10 pounds to lose. Okay, well, narcissism is the same way. There's really high end, abusive, crazy narcissism going on. And then there's also people who are a little bit narcissist. Okay, you can totally live with somebody who is just a little bit narcissist. So this is for those people who just are with someone that they want to have a relationship and they just have a little bit of narcissism. So I want you to think of it this way. Pretend you're in a zoo, and it's a rescue zoo, of course, not one of those horrible zoos. And so it's a rescue zoo, and there's a lion on the other end of the fence. And walking in with 2 steaks or something to feed this lion, you don't want to do that. You want to just throw a little food over the fence, just a little at a time, to keep the lion satisfied, to keep the lion feeling like, okay, I'm not totally alone. Now, the reason why you do this, the reason why you get that mentality, that visual in your head, is that when you are with someone who is a narcissist, and I mean just a little bit of narcissism, not the high-end spectrum that you need to get out of there right away, the low-end narcissism, sometimes they feel like when you do things on your own, it's a rejection of them. I don't want you to worry about that. I want you to just say things like, for instance, hey, you know what? I really love listening to music and playing music. So when I'm playing music, it helps me to think about you and how much I love you, but it still gives me this creative outlet. And if you give them that, and it helps me to think about how much I love you, you're feeding the lion a little bit. You're feeding the narcissist a little bit. You're giving them just enough so that they bring their defenses down, that they don't need the narcissist coping strategies. And I know all over the internet is, get away from a narcissist, they're so horrible, they're manipulating, and they are. They're really quite horrible when they're high end. But if they're on the low end of the spectrum, and there's a lot of people that might embody those types of behaviors sometime. So if they're on the very low end of the spectrum, where they're just annoyingly narcissist, but they're not toxic and manipulating to you, but they're just insecure and they're using narcissistic strategies, then you can feed that a little bit. When you feed it a little bit at a time, what happens is their defenses go lower and they don't need the narcissism anymore. They don't need those coping strategies. So when they don't need the strategies anymore, they start to diminish. It's not about really trusting you. So when I say they start to trust you, it's not about you. It's about they start to trust themselves, that they are worthy, that they don't need the narcissism. They don't need all of these coping strategies, and they start to feel better and they have a better relationship with you. So based on that, I want you to try it. Only if you're with somebody who's very low end narcissism. Do not try this with somebody who's off the charts, because they're only going to take that and they're going to manipulate it, and they're going to see it as they're taking power from you. And if you're with somebody like that who wants to control you, not just someone who's insecure and they kind of want to keep you in sight, they wish that you were not doing those things, but someone who is actively trying to manipulate and control you, and they go from being hateful and angry to super nice and love bombing, you want to not do that with them, because that will just dig you into a ditch. So if you're with somebody who's just coping and a little bit insecure, you know the difference between super toxic and healthy. And if you don't, look at some of my other videos. But if you are with someone who's fairly healthy, then go for it. So on that note, I'm gonna go, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.